What we have here is what I believe to be a 1956 Wizard tractor, essentially a Bolens Ride-a-Matic that was sold under the Wizard name and sold through Western Auto Parts stores. This particular machine does have its original Western Auto Parts tag on it, as you can see right there, the stock number and the serial number. I've been doing this tractor thing for many years now, and I had never heard of a Wizard tractor. So a couple of months ago when I came across this machine, I jumped on it, admittedly not knowing what I was buying or purchasing or agreeing to, because I had never heard of Wizard tractors. Come to find out, they're pretty rare. My understanding, like I said earlier, is that they were sold by Western Auto Parts and they were essentially a Bolens machine. This particular tractor was quite a mess when I got it. It was literally in the dirt, no wheels, no motor, no chain, no sprockets, no belt guard, and every single moving part, I mean every single moving part, was frozen. Either frozen or broken. Nothing moved, everything was rusted solid, and I took on the challenge. I thought it was cool enough and rare enough and odd enough to the point that I wanted to invest time and energy into the tractor. So over the last couple of months, I've proceeded to go through every single nut and bolt on this machine. As you can see, and for those of you that know me, I'm a patina guy. So I chose not to go with a restoration. I chose to leave it in its original work clothes, kind of telling the story of where it came from. These tractors originally, based on the limited research I've been able to accomplish, were bright orange with really, really bright yellow wheels. The color scheme is pretty disgusting, actually. And so I wanted to keep true to the original scheme somewhat. Had to put rubber on it, had to put rims on it, and so I decided to paint the wheels yellow, respectively, however a little bit darker than what would have been stock, because it would have been, my understanding, kind of a bright canary yellow, and on the rust I thought that just would have looked terrible. So that's the reason why the wheels admittedly are not the correct color for what would have been a Wizard. The Wizards, based on what I could find, also ran an A1200 Clinton, orange in color to match the tractor, and all of which that I could find were rope starts. Now, absolutely pure luck that I happened to come across this orange rope start A1200. Thank you, Chris Tarnowitz, for giving me the opportunity to purchase it and get it as part of the machine. One of the things I did find with these Wizard tractors is that information is very, very limited. And when I went to go put the Clinton engine in, I quickly realized that the air cleaner was not going to fit with the tower that was here. And one very grainy picture I was able to find of a Wizard tractor showed the original Clinton air cleaner at an angle. I, to this day, don't really know exactly what the adapter looked like or how they managed to make the air cleaner sit at an angle. I don't know if it was an elbow, you know, a curved elbow. I have no idea. Nonetheless, I created an adapter right at the carburetor just so we could kick the air cleaner at a little bit of an angle to clear everything. One of the other things I did too, as you can see, is I added a kill switch here using a bracket that I chemically rusted and using the two existing holes for the belt guard, because I know that the Ride-a-Matics typically had a tab welded right here on the column with a push button for a kill. This one had no signs of any kind of a bracket, nor do I have any clue where the kill switch would have been. And so again, not wanting to really modify much from stock, not wanting to add any unnecessary holes to the tractor, I decided to build myself a small little kill switch spot right there. And so there it is. A couple of things too that I'd like to just kind of highlight is the gear selector was completely frozen. Everything was rotted, including the hitch. So I tried to save the end joints and I had to make some new linkages, and I did get the entire hitch in place, which everything now functions as it should. As I noted earlier, this tractor was missing tons of parts. And so I want to say thanks and quick shout out to Ben McElwain. He did have a Ride-a-Matic machine that was a good parts machine that donated a lot of the missing parts that I needed to kind of get this thing back together and back up and running. Another person I just like to say super thanks to is Mr. Curtis Rye. He was able to help me out with the sheave pulley, the variable speed pulley, the clutch, the reverse disc, and the belt tensioner, the belt retainer bracket as well, all in beautiful rust patina. So thank you very much for that. Couple of things I did. I had to obviously replace the clevis joints because they were just destroyed, and I reused the center link bar that came from Ben's parts machine because the one that was on here was completely rotted. Also, steering was hindered a bit because it's my understanding this is a pretty common spot for a brake in the steering component. I welded it back together. I did a pretty heavy-duty V on the backside and really welded the crap out of the backside. But the front side, I wanted to keep it relatively neat and clean so that you could still read the original part number. You can see right there. So I didn't really want to interfere with the part number, nor did I really want to, interfere with the paint that was left. So did that repair as well. Also, as noted, the tractor was missing the chain, which is standard 40, size 40 link chain. Got it off Amazon, and I had to replace the tensioner gears and whatnot because none of that stuff was there. The belt guard was also on the parts machine that I got from Ben. Belt guard was green. I sandblasted it and chemically rusted it to the best of my ability to try to get it to match. I think it looks pretty good, not too bad. Gas tank's original. It is a little bit crusty around the opening of the hole where the cap is, but it is original, so I did want to leave it intact. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, I went through everything mechanically. The entire gear case came apart. All the hubs came apart. I did have to provide some donor pieces from the machine that I got from Ben. One of the ratcheting arms was completely pulverized, so I had to do some work inside one of the hubs. And everything's re-greased, re-lubed, resealed, and so everything works smoothly as it should. And I used the original. I was able to free up the original throttle handle and the original throttle cable, all of which were frozen. Steering was completely frozen. Took it all apart, got the column all apart, got everything freed up and fixed all that stuff too. The one thing I did have to kind of go a little bit outside of original parts was the gear selector shifter. Obviously water had gotten in right about there and it was completely frozen. I had the entire stock cherry red, I mean literally glowing, and I still couldn't get any movement out of it. So what I ended up doing is I ended up getting another arm and just grafted it. Right, come on, there you go. I ended up grafting it into the original. Welded it, grinded it, and just grafted it right in, so you can't even tell. Brought it back down to the end there. And we also had to do some work on the reverse gear spring. Got that all squared away. The original belt guard I did get with the tractor. Obviously pretty crusty, but again, kind of going with the motif of crusty, I decided to leave it exactly the way it was. So there it is. Western Auto Wizard runs, drives, steers, reverse, everything as it should. It's 100% functional. And there it is. The Wizard is officially, in my book, done. Hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, please feel free. I never claim to be an expert on these machines, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.